Have you ever wondered how some people continue making thousands of dollars while they're sleeping, traveling, or spending time with their families, while millions of others have to trade every hour of their lives just to earn another paycheck? It almost sounds like a fantasy, but the truth is that some of the wealthiest people in the world don't rely on working more hours. They rely on building systems and assets that continue generating income long after the work has already been done. The biggest difference between wealthy people and everyone else isn't that they work harder. It's that they understand the difference between earning money once and creating income that keeps paying them over and over again. Most people spend their entire lives exchanging time for money, which means the moment they stop working, their income immediately stops as well, creating a financial life completely dependent on showing up every single day. Rich people think differently because they understand that time is the only resource they can never replace, so instead of selling more of it, they focus on buying or building assets that earn money whether they're awake or asleep. Today, we're going to uncover exactly how wealthy people create passive and semi-passive income, why most people never take advantage of these opportunities, and how you can begin using the same principles to build long-term financial freedom. The first thing you need to understand is that rich people don't ask, "How can I earn more money?" Instead, they ask a much more powerful question, "How can I make my money work harder than I do?" And that single mindset shift changes everything. One of the most common ways wealthy people make money while they sleep is through investing. Because instead of allowing cash to sit idle in a bank account losing value to inflation, they put it into assets that have the potential to grow year after year. Whether it's index funds, dividend-paying stocks, real estate investment trusts, or carefully selected businesses, these investments continue working 24 hours a day without requiring constant effort from the owner. While they sleep, companies continue selling products, serving customers, generating profits, and increasing their value, allowing investors to benefit without physically being present at work every single day. Another powerful wealth-building strategy is owning businesses instead of simply working inside them, because a well-designed business can continue generating revenue through employees, automated systems, technology, and loyal customers even when the owner isn't actively working. This doesn't mean every business owner sits on a beach all day, but it does mean they've created systems that allow income to continue flowing without every dollar depending directly on their personal time. The wealthiest entrepreneurs spend years building processes that eventually reduce their daily involvement, transforming their businesses into income-producing assets rather than full-time jobs they can never escape. Real estate is another classic example of making money while you sleep, because rental properties can generate monthly cash flow while also increasing in value over time, creating two different sources of wealth from a single investment. Although owning property comes with responsibilities and risks, many successful investors hire professional property managers who handle maintenance, tenant communication, and day-to-day operations, allowing the investment to become far more passive. Dividend investing works in a similar way because certain companies share a portion of their profits with shareholders, meaning investors receive regular payments simply for owning pieces of successful businesses. Imagine waking up to find that companies you've invested in earned profits overnight and automatically deposited part of those profits into your account. That's exactly how many wealthy investors continue growing their income year after year. Another way rich people earn money while they sleep is by owning digital assets. Because unlike physical businesses that require constant attention, digital products can be created once and sold thousands of times with little additional effort. Online courses, ebooks, mobile applications, software, templates, stock photos, music licenses, and digital downloads continue generating income every time someone makes a purchase, even if the creator is asleep on the other side of the world. Think about someone who spends 6 months creating a valuable online course. Once it's finished, that course can be purchased by thousands of people over several years without needing to be recreated every single time. The same principle applies to software companies because after developing a useful application, they can sell subscriptions to millions of users simultaneously, allowing revenue to continue flowing 24 hours a day with very little extra cost for each new customer. Licensing is another strategy used by wealthy individuals because they create something valuable, one such as music, photography, inventions, patents, books, or intellectual property, and then receive payments every time someone else legally uses their work. Royalties are especially powerful because they separate income from hours worked, meaning a single successful creation can continue producing money for years or even decades after it was originally completed. Many wealthy people also earn passive income through dividend-paying stocks, where profitable companies distribute a portion of their earnings to shareholders every quarter, allowing investors to receive regular payments while doing absolutely nothing on a daily basis. Although dividend payments may seem small at first, continuously reinvesting those dividends creates a snowball effect where your investments begin buying more investments, accelerating wealth through the power of compound growth. This is why experienced investors rarely spend all the income their investments generate, because they understand that every dollar reinvested today has the potential to produce even more income tomorrow. Another important habit of wealthy people is purchasing assets instead of liabilities, because assets put money into your pocket while liabilities continuously take money out of it through maintenance costs, loan payments, depreciation, and ongoing expenses. For example, buying shares in a growing business, investing in rental property, or owning income-producing digital products creates opportunities for future earnings, while financing luxury items that rapidly lose value usually creates long-term financial pressure instead. One of the biggest misconceptions about passive income is believing it's completely effortless, when in reality almost every passive income stream requires significant work, discipline, investment, or risk before it begins producing consistent returns. Successful entrepreneurs often spend years building companies before they become self-sustaining. Investors spend decades growing portfolios before dividends become meaningful, and content creators produce hundreds of videos before their channels generate substantial income. The difference is that wealthy people are willing to work extremely hard up front because they know they're building something that can eventually continue rewarding them long after the initial effort has been completed. Most people, however, unknowingly choose the opposite path by avoiding difficult work today, only to spend the rest of their lives working continuously, because they never built assets capable of generating income on their behalf. Another secret wealthy people understand is the importance of automation, using technology, systems, and professional teams to remove themselves from repetitive tasks so their businesses and investments continue operating even when they aren't personally involved. Instead of trying to do everything themselves forever, they gradually replace their time with efficient systems, allowing their focus to shift toward creating new opportunities while their existing assets continue generating income. This is why rich people often appear to make money effortlessly, but what you're actually seeing is the result of years of planning, smart investing, disciplined decision-making, and building financial systems that continue working long after the original work was finished. The biggest mistake most people make is believing they need millions of dollars before passive income becomes possible, when in reality the journey usually begins with small, consistent investments that gradually grow into powerful income-producing assets over many years. Every wealthy investor started somewhere, and many of them began by investing a few dollars every month, understanding that consistency beats perfection because compound interest rewards patience more than large one-time investments. Imagine planting a single tree today and watching it produce fruit every year for decades. That's exactly how income-producing assets work, because the effort you make today continues rewarding you long into the future. Another important lesson rich people understand is that every dollar has a job, and instead of spending every paycheck the moment it arrives, they assign part of it to buying assets that will eventually generate even more money. This creates a powerful cycle where investments produce income. That income buys additional investments, and those new investments create even more income until wealth begins growing faster than the person's active earnings. The average person spends most of their money buying things that lose value over time, while wealthy people spend much of their money buying things that either increase in value or continue producing income year after year. That's why two people earning exactly the same salary can end up living completely different financial lives, because one continually purchases liabilities while the other quietly builds an army of income-producing assets. Rich people also understand that financial freedom isn't built by chasing quick profits or overnight success stories, because those opportunities often come with enormous risks and rarely create lasting wealth. Instead, they focus on slow, predictable, and repeatable systems that continue producing results regardless of short-term market fluctuations or economic uncertainty. This patient approach may seem boring compared to flashy investment trends, but history has repeatedly shown that disciplined investing and long-term thinking outperform emotional decision-making over time. Another powerful habit is continuously improving their financial knowledge, because wealthy people know that the better they understand business, investing, taxes, economics, and money management, the easier it becomes to identify opportunities that others completely overlook. They don't see learning as an expense. They see it as an investment capable of producing returns for the rest of their lives, which is why many successful people spend hours every week reading books, studying markets, and learning new skills. Perhaps the greatest secret behind making money while you sleep is understanding that wealth is built by owning, not just earning, because ownership allows your money to continue working even when you aren't, whether you own shares in profitable companies, rental properties, digital businesses, intellectual property, dividend-paying investments, or automated online businesses. Each asset becomes another employee working 24 hours a day without asking for a paycheck. Of course, none of this happens overnight, and anyone promising instant passive income is usually selling a dream rather than explaining reality, because true wealth requires discipline, patience, intelligent decision-making, and years of consistent effort. The goal isn't to escape work completely. The goal is to reach a point where your investments and assets produce enough income that working becomes a choice instead of a necessity. Imagine waking up every morning knowing your bills are covered by assets you've spent years building, giving you the freedom to spend more time with your family, travel where you want, pursue meaningful projects, or simply enjoy life without constantly worrying about your next paycheck. That level of freedom is exactly why wealthy people focus less on buying expensive possessions and more on acquiring assets that continue generating income year after year, because they understand that true luxury isn't owning more things, it's owning more time. Remember, every successful passive income stream you admire today was once just an idea backed by consistent action. And the sooner you begin building your own income-producing assets, the sooner your money can start working just as hard as you do. If you found today's video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because every week we break down proven wealth-building strategies that help ordinary people create extraordinary financial futures, one smart decision at a time.